This course from Mount Auburn here. Quite a good number of you. Okay, the rest of you who didn't raise your hand, pay attention to those who did, because they know where they're going. And you're going to know it's not all that difficult. But the first 2 miles, of course, you have to go over and run up Market Street up through Brighton. And it's not the most scenic route, and it can be a little challenging. So it's important that you really pay attention, not only to where you're going, because when you're coming back, those last couple miles of your run, you'll be a little more tired. You're going to have been chit-chatting with your training partners, your running partners. You're not necessarily paying attention to where you're going. And if you're a first time through here, it's like, where do I go now? There are maps of the first 2 miles out, and obviously it's an out and back, so the same 2 miles are your last 2 miles coming back in. Obviously the snow and whatnot have restricted the running routes out there. You can't get on the sidewalks in some areas. You're going to be forced out into the traffic road. Imperative, you can go single file, be very cautious, and if you get to disrupt your pace or whatever for safety's sake, absolutely do that. Especially over the first 2 miles going out, and the last 2 coming back, same 2 miles. So over the 11 to 14 miles is what it's called for today. Anybody planning to go any further than 14? Okay. We have water stops at roughly, and those of you with GPSs can help us really fine-tune the mileage on all this. At 3 miles, 5 miles, and 7 miles roughly. Okay. Now the 7 mile mark is the third water stop is the turnaround for the full 14. However, that actually would put us out onto Route 16. We don't go there. We're going to set up the third water stop at the firehouse. So you're really, that's only about 6.5 to 6 3/4 miles out the route. So you got to add on. You can just, you can add an extra hill back on the Newton Hills. Okay, that's what it is. You're running with Larry, just run in place and third water stop for an extra 5 minutes.
The sidewalks are clear from the firehouse up to New Welshing for the sidewalk.
Okay, well, if you want to do that, it's only a 1/4 mile roughly on past that third water stop. But the third water stop is set up as wherever they can set up out by the firehouse. So just know that that's about 6 3/4 miles into the run. You can always come back here and do a handful of strides on the clear road out here to finish off, and you'll end up getting your extra 1/4 to 1/2 mile. Okay, so you have to be quite so fastidious. They measure the marathon course right to 26.2 miles. But if you're getting your long training runs are a 1/4 mile off either way, you don't have to have sleepless nights about those kind of things. It's not that critical. So in terms of the water stops, also really important. We all get in the habit. Usually, if you need a second cup of Gatorade or water, use the same cup. Okay, we're going green this year. And number one, number two, empty out your cup completely and crush it before you throw it in the bin. These people are bringing back big plastic bags with half full of fluid and ends up in the back of somebody's car. So just from a courtesy standpoint, make sure you empty that out and don't throw fluids in there. I can't think of anything else in particular.
Safety standpoint, I know a lot of people like to wear their iPods. I personally am not an iPod person, so bear with me with this commentary. But if you're not on some place that's really safe, like the carriage road, I would personally ask you to just focus on your running and the sidewalk and the pedestrian and vehicular traffic until you get to a place that's a little bit safer. And we've just got to kind of get you prepared for whatever the marathon tells us. And if they say no headphones, that's what we're going to try to prep you for. Okay? So everybody work your hands. They have said it in the past, yeah, but they haven't really enforced it. And we don't have any indication that they're going to super enforce it. But if we hear that they will, we're going to try to get you ready, to do that. Yeah.
It's like prohibition is trying to be legislated even through the highest administrative bodies of the running world here in the U.S. Some races are going that way. Others are saying, hey, these are adults who can take care of themselves. So it'll be an ongoing issue. The topic of conversation at the bars used to be about shoes and stuff, and now it's about iPods. So that'll move on. Just be very careful. Now, one final instruction in terms of your training run today, and you want to get accustomed to this in all your longer training runs, mid-length training runs, because it's what you're going to employ in the marathon itself, the idea of negative splits. I really want you to start integrating that concept into your mind. The idea of negative splits is if you run the second half of your run or the second half of your race faster than the first half. Now, You know, and you're going to learn through your training really how to do that and how you have to feel. So there are two measures of what you're doing in terms of your effort and your speed out there. There's the watch, and then there's your perceived effort, how you're feeling in terms of the speed that you're getting. Some days it's, and at the beginning of a race, you can run easy and fast. At the end of the race, you're running hard but slow. So running harder doesn't necessarily mean faster across the spectrum. So you need to cultivate a good sense of how you're feeling and how much energy you have left, so that going out you feel nice and comfortable. In the first third of a race, you feel very comfortable, almost feel like you're going too slow. Okay, so that the last third, you know, even though you're putting a lot more effort in, the idea is to just be able to at least maintain your speed, not just through sheer effort, but maintaining your rhythm and your relaxation. But on these, in lieu of all of that, try to run your return portion once you turn around, whether you turn around at the 5-mile mark, that second water stop, or the third at the firehouse. Try to make a note of the time that you're running and the pace you're running, and try to return a little bit faster than you went out. Okay? So that helps hold your feet to the fire, and that keeps you paying attention. Don't dally at the water stops and turn those into social settings. They tend to become that way. So we didn't put M&Ms out there for you today, so you don't stand and throw them at each other. We'll have them for you the next one. But yeah, don't dally. Get your water and move on, and keep yourself going. Have a good run out there. It's a great day. Be careful, and we'll see you back here. Thanks, Zach.